From VOA Learning English, this is the Technology Report. The Internet is one of the most popular forms of technology. But can using the Internet have the same effect as taking a drug? The answer seems to be yes in at least one country. China says many teenagers have grown dependent on the Internet. China calls them Internet addicts. In fact, China says that Internet addiction is the biggest threat to its teenagers. Some critics even call the Internet electronic heroin. In 2008, China became one of the first countries to declare Internet addiction an official medical condition. Experts released a report that defined the condition or disorder. It said people with Internet addiction disorder spend more than 6 hours online doing something other than work or study. Based on the definition, China has over 20 million Internet addicts. The condition has led to the creation of over 250 camps within China. They are designed to treat young addicts. The camps treat the country's young addicts for their dependence on the Internet and video gaming. Teenagers can spend 3 to 4 months at a camp. Once there, the patients are required to do demanding physical exercises and take medication. Some patients reportedly are placed in rooms by themselves for up to 10 days. Shash Shlam and Hilla Medalia are filmmakers from Israel. They released a documentary called Web Junkie. It tells about the Internet addiction camps. Their film was produced at the Daxing Treatment Center in Beijing. China is not the only country dealing with Internet addiction. South Korea has opened over 100 treatment centers for teenagers. For VOA Learning English, I'm Alex Villarreal. From VOA Learning English, this is the Agriculture Report. Ivory Coast is the world's largest producer and exporter of the cocoa bean. But people have been illegally transporting or smuggling cocoa beans between Ivory Coast and neighboring Ghana for many years. Ivorian growers smuggled their cocoa beans into Ghana because prices were higher and more dependable there. But that has changed. Ghanaian money lost value recently, while Ivory Coast has become more secure after a period of unrest. Now, Ghanaian farmers are smuggling their beans into Ivory Coast, where they get a better price. The government in Ivory Coast has set a price for cocoa beans. It hopes that will help keep the beans in the country. At the same time, Ghana's money has dropped in value against the dollar by more than 40%. This has caused a loss of profits for the country's cocoa growers. They can make more money if they smuggle their crop to Ivory Coast. Ghanaian farmers who do not send their cocoa beans to Ivory Coast are urging the government to keep other farmers from doing so. One way to slow the smuggling would be to increase the price of cocoa in Ghana. But Ghana has a budget deficit, so it does not have the money to support such a move. These beans are needed to make chocolate. Ivory Coast, Ghana, and other West African countries together produce more than 65% of the world's cocoa crop. Industry experts estimate that up to 100,000 tons of beans have been smuggled into Ivory Coast from Ghana since last October. For VOA Learning English, I'm Alex Villarreal. From VOA Learning English, this is the Health Report. Many college students have stopped taking class notes by hand. Instead, they type on computers. But scientists say typing notes is less effective. If you need to remember something, they say, write it down. Writing notes by hand is much better for the long-term memory of ideas or conceptual information. That is the finding of a 2014 study published in the journal Psychological Science. So, turn off your computer if you want to remember something. Computers can take your attention away from your work. If you have a computer, you might send an email or check a sports score. Scientists also say computers may hurt performance in school. Their research showed that students who type notes often transcribe the information. That means they record what the professor says word for word. They may not think about what they are typing. The study found that electronic notes contained more words, but scientists say the act is mindless. However, students who take notes by writing them first process the information they hear. Then they record just the main points. This process leads to a deeper understanding, researchers say. In the study, students listened to a teacher and then took a test. Some students typed their notes, others wrote them. Both groups performed about the same in remembering facts. But students who typed did much worse on questions that require understanding of an idea. Researchers found that those who wrote their notes also remembered the tested information better a week later. For VOA Learning English, I'm Alex Villarreal. From VOA Learning English, this is the Education Report. The school year has begun in Cameroon, but thousands of students and teachers are fleeing their schools in towns that border Nigeria's Borno state. The state is the home of the Boko Haram terrorist group. 1,000 children were expected to start classes in government schools in the border town of Kolofata, but only a few arrived. Fansha Renee was one of those who did come to school. The 17-year-old said Boko Haram attacks in the area have frightened away students. Recent fighting between the Nigerian Boko Haram rebels and Cameroon soldiers damaged the school. Pamela Singeth works at the government school in Kolofata, but she fled to safety at a military camp. She said she could not advise any child to go to school in the border area because it is dangerous. She said Boko Haram had destroyed classrooms. Like Kolofata, the town of Mora also borders Borno State. 700 students were expected at school in Mora, but only 100 appeared. Instead, the students found more than 2,000 Nigerian refugees in their school building. Babila Akau serves as an administrative official for the area. He said he asked the Ministry of Education to postpone the start of the school year. Kolofata and Mora are just 2 of the 25 schools near the border with Nigeria's Borno State. Monuna Fatso is Cameroon's Secretary of State of the Ministry of Secondary Education. He says the government plans to move students from local schools for security reasons. For VOA Learning English, I'm Alex Villarreal. From VOA Learning English, this is the Economics Report. The World Bank Group is warning that the West Africa Ebola crisis could severely harm the economies of Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone unless action is taken quickly. World Bank President Jim Yong Kim spoke to reporters recently to discuss the effects of the Ebola spread. He said the economic cost to these countries could grow 8 times by 2015 if the virus continues to spread. Mr. Kim says saving lives and preventing new infections is most important. The bank has released $117 million for an immediate humanitarian response. The World Bank president says the SARS outbreak between 2002 and 2004 showed how a disease could hurt economies. 800 people died from SARS, and the economic losses were estimated to be $40 billion. Mr. Kim says SARS and the H1N1 outbreak of 2009 taught that fear and avoidance resulted in about 90% of the economic losses. That means the disease is causing 2 levels of economic damage. One is from the actual spread of the virus, but the other is caused by fear. The World Bank predicts the losses to the economies of Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Guinea will be a combined $360 million. But estimates show that losses could reach billions of dollars if the Ebola virus spreads widely to other African nations. Mr. Kim says fast action is necessary. He says getting the disease under control is still far away. That is because there are not enough healthcare workers in the affected areas. The World Bank president says the most important issue is to act quickly in order to limit economic losses. For VOA Learning English, I'm Alex Villarreal.